His podcast?
Yeah, podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is. Podcast. We don't even know what a podcast is.
We don't even know what a podcast is. We don't even know what a podcast is. I got lemon meringue, apple, whatever other kind of pies you might grapple with. Hey, what's up, y'all? You might recognize this voice. This voice that you're hearing right now might be recognizable to you, considering the fact that you clicked on some type of link that probably had my name in the link, because the name of this podcast shares the name of me. It's Wax's podcast, y'all. I'm back. I'm back after a fucking long hiatus that I can't even explain to you. I don't really know. I don't have any fucking credible excuse as to why I haven't done a podcast in a few weeks. But you know, like I say in many podcasts of the podcast of yesteryear, I'm not going to stop. I take breaks. All professionals take breaks. When you watch a tennis tournament, do they just go point after point after point after point until the whole fucking match is over? No. They have games, they have sets, and they have fucking matches. Even the best take breaks, and I'm the fucking best I'm the best podcaster of all time. That's why the name is in the podcast. I don't need a fancy fucking name. It doesn't have to be called the podcast of the century. It doesn't have to be called the best podcast of all time. It's going to have my name, Wax's Podcast. Humble. A humble name like that. It's like, I don't really think all those things. I don't think I'm the best podcaster of all time. I don't even think I'm in the top million, if there is a million podcasts. I'm here. It's episode 110. Been doing this shit for a few years now, man. A lot of rappers have podcasts now, but you check. You go fucking back in the catalog. They might have more episodes than me. They might be more responsible than me. They might be more consistent as far as how often they put out podcasts than me. But you look at those fucking dates. Episode 1. I don't know what the date was, but it was a fucking while ago. I was one of the first. That's one thing I can say about myself. I may not be that successful. I may not be well known. I may not be even close to a household name. But if there's a fucking thing if there's a nerdy thing if there's like a nerd aspect of stuff that rappers do, in like 2007, it was rap on YouTube. Now it's have a podcast. It's acceptable now to have a podcast. I was in that game before it was acceptable. I was in the rapper with a podcast game when a rapper with a podcast is still really looked at the way Meek Mill looked at Joe Budden when he said the quote that I sampled in the podcast intro that you just heard a couple minutes ago. He doesn't even know what a podcast is. And that was like late 2015. I was I was on the train many years before that quote. The train of the podcast train. And I wasn't in the caboose, y'all. I was the fucking conductor, okay? Anyway, here I am at my lovely house. I now live in Sherman Oaks, California, with my lovely roommates. I'll tell you what, man. After living by myself, for years, probably 4 years before I moved in here, I lived by myself. And when I got home from wherever the fuck I was at that day, I'd have thoughts. I'd have thoughts that would just travel around in my head. And the thoughts would say things. Something on the left side of my inner head would make a statement. Then something on the right side of my inner head would contradict that statement or agree with that statement or add something, add more facts, add more details, add a different side of the argument to what the thing on my left side of my inner head had said. Then from there, the front and back of my inner head would have other thoughts, questions, and it would just form this like conference room of dialogue within my fucking cranium. In other words, I would just talk to myself. Sometimes in my head, but mostly actually out loud. I'd walk around my apartment and just fucking talk. I don't know, maybe some of us have like this need to share. And when you live by yourself, it makes you a little crazy, I guess, because you're sharing things with another. You're just kind of schizophrenic in a way. But man, having roommates, and I think, the key to having roommates, this is really obvious what I'm about to say. The key is to have roommates that you're comfortable with, roommates that are your friends, roommates that are good people, roommates that are trustworthy, roommates that at least kind of have their shit together, especially when you get older, And yes, at this point, I think with I have faults, but I pretty much have my shit together as far as being a roommate. I'll do the dishes. I'll take out the trash. I'm not perfect, but I'm a pretty decent roommate, and I think my roommates would attest to that. But the point is, it's nice after 4 years of living in solitude to, at night, we have thoughtful dialogue. We have discussions about politics. We have discussions about music. We have discussions about everything. And it's nice. Talking to people can give you ideas. It can change your mind. You can change their minds. You can indoctrinate them with whatever you want. You can tell them to do shit. But, yeah, my point is that I like having roommates. Maybe it's just that I like the variety, which is living alone then having roommates. Maybe soon I'll live alone again. Maybe after that I'll just fucking live in a commune for a while and have 100 roommates, housemates, cellmates, yard mates, commune mates. I don't know. Got to spice it up, Variety is the spice of life. And spice is the variety. I don't fucking know. What I wrote a couple things down to talk about. One was I like having roommates. Another thing, I've seen a lot of people. I don't know if it's you guys who listen to the podcast, but a lot of people are a little bit mad at me, I think. Not mad at me, but if you've been keeping up at all, I'm doing my show called Chain Reaction where I review chain restaurants. And I think they're getting pretty good, man. Some of them are pretty funny now. And I don't know how. Maybe like in the near future, I'm going to try to actually promote them and get people to give more of a shit about them. I want people to care about Chain Reaction really bad, and people don't really care that much. And the fact is, people don't like me because I go to fast food restaurants and make comments about French fries. People like me because I do music. And I can totally understand a lot of people that have been hitting me up like, dude, how about you stop talking about fucking cheeseburgers and get your ass in the booth? And I understand that. And while that is, part of me says, well, I like to do different things. I like to maintain a certain level of creativity just so I don't get bored. That said, I love rapping. And I am working on a new project that will be out for the summertime. This time I mean it because this project, which I'm not sure if it's an album or a mixtape. I'm not sure that I give a fuck whether it's called an album or a mixtape. You know what? I'm not going to call it an album or a mixtape. I might even just make up some new shit. I might even make up a new fucking thing for it to be called. Change the fucking game. Okay? No, but I'm working on a new project and it's going to be a little bit different. Not that different. It's going to be, if anything, it's going to be more of a rap album than the last album I put out. But this one is going to be a summertime album. It's going to be a fucking barbecue, hit play, let the whole thing play through your cookout type of shit. I'm going to purposely try to leave the super depressing aspect of my music a little bit out of this one. I want to try to make a fucking feel-good project. Songs that you can play and forget about your woes and worries. And I don't know if woes is the right word there, but just forget about your problems. Be with your friends. Have a couple brews. Smoke a couple marijuana cigarettes, if you please. And just have a good old time. And I got a couple joints that I'm working on that are fucking tight. So I'm going to try to really focus on the rhymes this time. Really have some dope-ass rhymes. I mean, I put out this song like a month ago called Chunky, and I think a lot of people disregarded it or didn't see it, or just because like the video was kind of half-assed. Kind of. The video is the definition of half-assed, but man, if you listen to some of the bars on that shit, it's pretty fucking tight. I'm probably going to put that on there too. And just keep it funky and keep it head nod. And just I'm going to get a lot of production from my man EOM, who wasn't even on my last album, unfortunately. But, that was then. This is now. We're working on several things together. And, that's where I'm at with that. So anybody that is mad at me for not putting out music, that is understandable, and I apologize, and I will be back in full force with some new music, of which I'm sure I'll make some videos for. Oh, by the way, I do have a pretty crazy new music video coming out probably in about 2 weeks. It's pretty fucking crazy. It's pretty awesome. So you can look forward to that. Is that what you're going to do? You're just going to fucking look forward to that? Are you going to just sit in a chair for the next 2 weeks, close your eyes, and just look forward? What does that really mean? Look forward. Look forward to it, like your sight can see time. Like you're looking forward in time. In that case, make sure you're looking east. Right? Is that right? You better be looking east, and you better be able to see really far. And you better have some type of eyes that can actually see round, because our world is curved and you can't see past the horizon. So if you're really looking forward to the future, you better be looking east, and you better have some kind of superhero spherical directional eyeballs. And interesting. Look forward. I never thought about that before. Look forward to. I'll write that down and see if I can make something stupid out of that. Hey, what else? Been doing some stand-up comedy, y'all. I'm actually doing a stand-up comedy set tonight. Been working on some jokes. My other plan, I have 2 plans going at once right now as far as my career is concerned. I have other things going on as far as my personal life. Trying to balance the two. Before it was very unbalanced. Like elephants and ants on seesaws, as the Jizza once said. But I'm trying to balance the personal and the business. And the 2 of the main things I'm working on in my career right now. A is the mixtape / album / whatever the new thing that's going to change the game. The new game-changing title of project that I'm going to that I'm going to unveil. I probably won't actually do that. Y'all probably just call it a fucking tape. Not even mix. Not even mix, just tape. And you can only get, like, when I say tape, I mean VHS tape, not even cassette tape. You can only get it on VHS tape and play it in a fucking VCR. That's making some hipster shit. Not really. But, yeah, I've been doing stand-up. The other half of what I'm trying to do, I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, but I'm working on a whole other type. Like, I got some new songs that are in a different place that are a little bit more at home in a comedy club. You know, I'm not saying the songs themselves are like just joke after joke within the song, but I got this thing where I'll do some stand-up, some jokes, some material, and then I do a song that's about what the fuck I just said. And then I do some jokes and some material, and then I do a song about what the fuck I just said. That's kind of the format. It is not rocket science. It's just me with an acoustic guitar and a microphone, and my goal is to do that a lot for the next year, maybe 2, maybe fucking 18. I don't know. But for the next, me and my boy T-Rex are doing a monthly show here in North Hollywood. Next one is April 7th, by the way. April 7th at the Federal. The show's called The Federal Offense. Come check it out. But we're going to do that every month, and I'm working on this kind of thing. Like last month, I was doing some of my old stuff too, but I'm trying to evolve into having a set, like an hour-long set that I could turn into like a comedy special. That's the other half of what I'm doing for myself. And that's going to take a while because it takes a while to get good at things. You don't just get good at things by wanting to be good at them, people. You got to work. You got to practice. You got to do the Malcom Gladwell thing. I'm actually lucky because there's a couple things that have made me better at stand-up comedy than somebody who has just started as long as I do. And that is mostly the fact that even though I haven't done stand-up comedy, I've talked shit in between songs on stage for music shows forever. Many years, I'm comfortable in front of a crowd. I'm comfortable in front of a microphone. And from doing this podcast, I'm comfortable just yapping like I'm currently doing. So I feel like even though I've only been doing stand-up for less than a year, I'm kind of at like the 2-year mark, dude, based on that experience of just being comfortable on stage and being able to fucking yap at audience members and roasting people in the crowd. Plus, when you write raps, you kind of make jokes here and there, you know. So that's the other thing I'm trying to do. So I'm staying busy and being creative. This house is a really good place to be creative at. Oh, speaking of, I don't think I've done a podcast since me and T-Rex put on our first show. March 10th was our first show over there at the Federal Offense, and it was really fucking awesome. Thanks to anybody listening who came out. We had a lot of people come out. The place was sold out. And a really special thing happened. Legendary comedian, Bill Burr came through and did a set at our show, which to me was amazing because that dude's actually an idol of mine. It's actually, I didn't even talking to him, I was like intimidated. You know, it's intimidating to talk to somebody that you respect that much. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be doing a podcast if I hadn't listened to his podcast many years ago. I heard his podcast and I was like, I should do something like this. I could kind of do what he does. I could do what he does 1/50th as good. And I started at 1/50th. Maybe now I'm at 1/49th. You know. But yeah, he's the sole inspiration for me doing this podcast. And it's even developed, like when I first started doing it, I had segments. I had Wax's Hollywood Stories. I'd call someone and fuck with them. But due to multiple factors, A, I don't have any more Hollywood stories. And B, I don't really have that many people to call. I kind of left those behind, and it's even developed to the point where my formula is pretty much exactly like his formula. You talk for a while, then you fucking read stuff from people that listen. So it was fucking legendary, man. He did a set. He had to deal with like a drunk chick yelling for a lot of the set, so... Which to me was actually fun to watch. It was fun to watch a professional deal with a situation that like threw him for a loop. For him, it was you could tell that he's kind of said he's dealt with. I think every comedian has dealt with a drunk person yelling before, and he handled it very well. Shout out to T-Rex who hosted the show, my boy. He will be hosting every one of our shows that we're doing. The next one is April 7th. We got to have some special guests on that one. Looks like my girl Jackie Tone will be on it. That dude Eric Griffin, you might know him from The Workaholics, is going to be on it. And just added today is hilarious comedian Tiffany Haddish, who is on The Carmichael Show. We got Hollywood shit going on, y'all. Trying to make it a real show, trying to make it a fun place to be, and a good place if you want to see what the fuck I'm working on, or if you want to see some just hilarious comedy and music. Well, the music, I guess, that isn't necessarily hilarious, but some of it may be. Jackie Tone's music, it can be very hilarious. Come through April 7th. I think the show starts at 8. So get there before that. Get a good seat. So that was awesome. Been doing that. What else? Just been fucking, my roommate Davey. He's a big fan of presidential politics, like I said before, and we got into a discussion last night that got us thinking. And his brother, Ben, and my brother, Chris, a.k.a. Herbal Tea, have been making the same argument about Donald Trump for, pretty much since he began. Or ever since it seemed like, holy shit, this guy has a chance. Both of our brothers, not like they talked about it together, but they've been making this argument where eventually Americans will vote for Donald Trump, not even because they agree with what he says, not even because of that, but they will vote for Donald Trump because he's the most entertaining out of everybody. If you watch the news, if you flip back and forth between like the 3 or 4 channels that are just 24 hours of like, oh shit, we have to fill this space with stuff that's happening in the world. If you flip through that shit, at any given time, except for like during when the Brussels things happen. I'm by the way, I'm sorry about it. About anybody who had anybody they love involved with that. My heart goes out to you. Prayers to you and your family. Sorry if that happened to anybody you know. That very tragic incident. But my point was, when something like that happens, everybody covers that. But when there's not really a certain thing going on, any given time, 2 or 3 out of the 4 is going to be talking about Donald Trump. And you know why? It's because he's the most fucking entertaining guy. He's by far more entertaining than anybody else in politics. And if you really think about it, if I turned off my television, forever, and then whatever happened, if Hillary was the president, if Donald Trump was the president, if Ted Cruz, Bernie Sanders, if anybody was the president, it wouldn't really fucking matter. I mean, I take that back, because my argument that I said last night is that it actually does matter a little bit with Trump, because if he starts World War III, there very well could be fucking bombs in Los Angeles. People in America forget that. In World War II, it was an overnight decision at one point in the war for Hitler to say, fuck it, let's just bomb London, downtown, where the people are. They're just doop-de-doop-de-doo, walking around with their British accents, eating their fucking their flavorless food. And all of a sudden, fucking bombs rain down on their fucking main city. It's not inconceivable that if Donald Trump gets in there and starts talking tough, like he's been doing to every other fucking country, that somebody such as Russia, China, North Korea, shit, at this point, Canada, fucking, he'll start a fight with anybody. So at this point, people don't realize, like, everywhere is a target. And if you're in Los Angeles, you very well could get a fucking bomb dropped on you. That said, for the most part, no matter who gets elected, it's especially true in previous years, but this one's more interesting with Trump. If I turn off the fucking television, who gives a shit? I live my life like normal. I'd work. I go to the store. If I had a family, I'd hang out with them. I'd take them to school. I'd go to the grocery store and get them food. I'd fucking fuck my wife or whatever. Life goes on. The television, like, it's just some fucking screen. It's just a screen that exists in my house that I look at for entertainment. It's all fucking entertainment. The world of politics and the world of entertainment, especially in a country as big as the United States and spread out and without really borders. We border Canada and Mexico, but that's not those borders aren't going to be something that affects me, Point being, let's say I keep the TV on. What do I want? Do I want world peace? World peace is boring. I want, as me, Michael Jones, that's my government name, I would love it if there was world peace. That'd be amazing. I don't give a fuck about the entertainment value of it. But what do you show on the fucking news if there's world peace? You're just going to go to fucking stills? You're just going to fucking post still pictures of beautiful scenery? People hugging each other? Boring! Donald Trump's entertaining. Every day he says something fucking crazy. And me and my roommates talk about him. I go to the grocery store, I hear other motherfuckers talking about him. I see people on Facebook talking about him. It's because he's fucking entertaining. He's like wrestling. He's like a fucking wrestler. And the WWE, the WWF, or whatever other fucking famous wrestling leagues and federations there are globally. And that's what we want. I think he realized it, man. He realized it from the get-go. He was a reality star. He knows how to make people tune in. He knows how to make people pay attention to him. And he fucking can do whatever he wants. He can say any crazy shit, and he's untouchable. And the bottom line is people just want to be entertained. And he's also, he's also the embodiment of the modern American dream. I think I said it last week on the podcast, or not last week, but whenever the last podcast was, but it's worth saying again that the old American dream of the 1940s and 50s, which strangely enough is like, I guess what he's hearkening back to with his Make America Great Again. I guess he's talking about the 40s and 50s. Back then, the American dream was to have a home, 2 kids, and play baseball with your son in front of your picket fence. That's no longer the American dream. The American dream now is Jay-Z. The American dream now is Donald Trump. The American dream is greed. It's not about having a wife and kids in a house. It's about having bitches and money. And Donald Trump embodies all that. Donald Trump has all the same shit a rapper has. Donald Trump has his own vodka company. Donald Trump brags about his dick size. Donald Trump fucks models. All of his wives have been models. He cheats on his model wife with a model. Imagine if Obama had done that. Imagine if Obama's past was like, oh, by the way, this is my 3rd wife. My first one, I cheated on her with a model. He'd be done. But Trump knows. People don't give a shit anymore. It's a new day. The American dream has changed. Which is weird because he's this new he's the new thing. He doesn't represent old America. But in people's minds, he somehow does. And really think about what that means. Make America great again. That means that it was better in the past. And what was as you go back in the past, in the memory of America, who has less rights and privileges? All minorities, gay people, women. The word progressive means moving forward and making progress. If you analyze great again, that means you're going backwards. He's saying the shit is worse now than it was. Maybe some people would argue that. I mean, I think Obama's presidency rubbed a lot of old white people the wrong way. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's a fucked up time in America. We're witnessing some crazy history right now. I don't think everybody even understands how fucking historic this moment in American politics is. We might be headed for a revolution in the next couple years. It's extremely divided here. It's crazy. I mean, not in my house, not in my day-to-day. I could turn the fucking television off and I wouldn't know anything or care. Everything would be the same. Everything that I think has been informed by, I don't even really know that the Brussels thing happened. I wasn't there. I just saw it on a fucking, I'm sure it happened, y'all. Don't take that seriously, but you get my point. It's just some fucking screen that's in my house feeding me information. I don't know that any of it's factual. But the illusion is that I watch it and it affects my life. It only affects my life because I watch it. That fucking screen. Whether it's your phone, your laptop, or your TV. It only affects you because you watch it. If you turn the shit off, Donald Trump goes away. It all goes away. And you just live in your little neighborhood and try to fucking be good to people and your family and blah, blah, blah. You know? Anyway, I have a lot of questions today. So did I want to say anything else? I think that's all I wanted to say. Let me get to questions and shout-outs here. All right, I'm back. Back in full effect. I hardly have any shout-outs this week. I'll tell you why. The way I do it is I go and look at all the unread emails, and I do it in chronological order. So I start from, say, February 10th to 11th to 12th, and I keep going. And I stop when I have enough questions to read. And for some reason today, this morning when I was going through the emails, almost every email had like a good question for me to read. So it's usually when someone, then there'll be people that just ask for shout outs and shit. So it just happened to be that like a lot of the questions were good. So I don't have a lot of shout outs. I got to March 1st. If you emailed me after March 1st, I just haven't checked the email yet. So trying to catch up. You know how I am if you've been listening to this. I'm not responsible. I'm not timely. I'm timely in regular life. I'm quite punctual. If you want me to be somewhere at 7, I'll be there. But in the case of this podcast and checking the emails, I'm usually like 3 weeks behind, something like that. And, I don't know what the fucking date is today. Oh, shit. I'm more like 4 weeks behind. Not 3.5, 24 days behind. So, yes, I only got a few shout-outs, but I got a bunch of questions. So, some good ones, too, and good things to talk about today. Here on March 24th. All right, shout-outs real quick. We got J30 Dirty. We got Mike T, the student/cleaner. If you remember, Mike T is the Brit that used to be a security guard, and now he is a student/cleaner. We got my man Ryan T, and last but not least, we got Jack Mama. All right, this is some interesting advice on quitting cigarette smoking. This was sent to me by Chuck, a.k.a. Halftime Show from Jersey. All right. The topic of quitting smoking came up thanks to Arab Spring, and I thought I'd add my mumblings. I'm currently yet again attempting to kick butts. I like it worded like that. I'm trying something new this time. You know that moment just before you cave? When you've been good for a week, but you're 2 beers deep, and people start good for a week, but you're 2 beers deep. And people start lighting up, and the building overflows, and you say, fuck it. The build-up overflows, and you say, fuck it. Give me one right now before I kill everyone. That was in all caps. It is a tremendous energy. There's power in it. Normally at that moment, I give in and light up because the desire is too strong, and I'm nothing but weak and swayable. Good for nothing but a weak and swayable clump of shit. Immediately afterwards, I have mixed emotions. One is guilt for obvious reasons, i.e. I'm squandering this precious gift of life that I love, and it's all for some butthole reason. The other is dissatisfaction. That comeback cigarette is never as fulfilling as the brain expects. Ain't that the truth? For me, it's always a letdown. It's like seeing the sequel to any movie ever made, except Airplane. I don't think I've ever seen Airplane 2. I'm not even enjoying this, gets said, as I make my way to Wawa to buy another pack, and here I go again. But go back to that pre-cave moment with the tremendous power and energy. Yeah, that one. You're super alert. Cognition is peaking. It's a high in itself. What if you can harness that feeling? Right then and there, take the 5 minutes you'd have smoked and do something else. Something productive. Write a verse. Call someone who hasn't heard from you. Learn calligraphy. Put out the trash. I don't know. That time will elapse that you would have spent smoking, and it's like you didn't miss anything, but there's this buzz that lingers, and you can use it to your advantage if you let it. If that doesn't work or you have no idea what the fuck I'm babbling about, go buy a bag of sunflower seeds at low sodium and spit that shit out like a secret. I'm not a Dr. Wax, just a long-winded asshole. Well, let me tell you something, Chuck. I was moved by that. I not only do I think this is really good advice, but I think your style of writing is awesome. You should. I don't know if you're a writer for a living, but you should be. Very powerful way of wording these things, and I know what you mean. To anybody out there that smokes and has tried quitting smoking, especially if you're the kind of person that likes to smoke when you drink. So you've quit for a week, and then you decide, I'm good. I can go to this get-together where people are smoking and drinking. And you're a couple in. When you get some alcohol in your system, your willpower is affected. And there's that energy, that fucking addict energy that makes you want to smoke. And Chuck is saying that you can harness that energy and take it another way. And part of the reason that I read this is because I'm going to try quitting again in April. And I think I'm going to try to do that. I like the idea of maybe every time you want a cigarette, do 10 push-ups maybe. Or every time, you said take up the trash. Do something productive and something that uses energy. I mean, the ultimate thing to do would be to do some type of exercise, because then not only you're quitting smoking, but there's an additional plus, you know? But I certainly understand what you're saying. I appreciate the advice, and I think there's a lot of people listening that might appreciate the advice as well. Thank you, Chuck. All right, the next one is from, is this recording, motherfucker? Is this fucking thing? Yeah, okay, cool. We got Rick the Prick, a.k.a. Ricky from Atlanta. Would you be in an open relationship? Why or why not? Loving chain reaction, by the way. Thank you, man. And looking forward to that yard sale. Hopefully you still have Tecate Scrub Life shirts. I don't know that I have any of the Tecate. You know what? I fucking do have some Tecate Scrub Life shirts, I think. I think I do have a bin of those. What he's talking about, if you guys don't know, I have a fucking shitload of merch in my garage, just in plastic bins. Plastic bin after plastic bin of merchandise. Ping pong balls that say wax on them. Red Solo beer pong cup things that say wax on them. Shirts that say wax on them. I think I still have pint glasses. I think I still have USB flash drives, which are becoming like less and less used by the minute. Especially considering it's a 1 gig flash drive. But it does look cool. It is in the shape of a spork. But I mean, I have to go out there and look. I have tons of different types of t-shirts. And my thought was that what I want to do is I want to make an online yard sale and just sell the shit for fucking super cheap. Like, you know, I usually sell t-shirts for like 20 or $25. I want to sell them for like $5, $10 maybe, depending. I got to look at them. It'll be shipping. I don't know where the fuck you live, but I'm not going to pay for I'm not going to pay to ship it. Whatever the shipping cost will be added on to the 5 or the 10 or whatever. But I want to make like, I think the best way to do it would be, instead of just selling everything individually, to make like little packets. Maybe it's even a surprise pack. I don't know. I need to get rid of the shit. People have been saying they want the shit, and Jesus Christ, I could make some money, you know, which God knows I need to fucking do. So I guess since I've been getting some emails about this thing, I'll go ahead and do it. I feel like I almost don't deserve yet to start selling stuff because I haven't put out an album or anything yet. I put out one pretty recently, but I did sell stuff to go with that. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put that on my to-do list. I'm going to actually put it on my to-do list right now while on the podcast. Am I right? I'm going to just write it down real quick. Hold up. Online yard sale. Try to get that shit going. I mean, God forbid I actually work at something that actually makes money, unlike this podcast. There's a way. If you go to my website and click on podcast, there's a link to Amazon. I gotta talk to my brother about it. It actually goes to his account. It used to be the Herbal Tea Diaper Fund, but you know what? His kids don't need diapers anymore. So I gotta see what's up. But if you want to buy something on Amazon, if you go to my website and click on podcast, then click on that link to get to Amazon. I get some kind of tiny amount of money for whatever you buy. I don't remember I don't even know what it is because my brother set it up, but that's the way that I guess you can contribute to the podcast. Although I've been doing the podcast for 4 years, I don't know if I've made anything off that. If I have, I got to talk to my brother about it, is what I'm saying. That was long-winded. Would you be in an open relationship is the question. I'm assuming by open relationship you mean I have a girlfriend and she's allowed to fuck other people and I'm allowed to fuck other people. Nah, I'm old school like that, man. I mean, I could, if I was single, which I'm not right now. I have a girl now. If I was single and I dated multiple people, and then maybe one person was somebody I dated here and there, and we kind of knew each other was dating other people or whatever, like maybe. But if she's my girlfriend, nah, man, I'm old school. I'd be too jealous. I can't be. Hey babe, hey, what's up? She's like, nothing. I just got fucked. Couldn't do it. Simple as that, buddy. Call me old school. Call me non-open-minded. Call me the jealous type. But nah, if I got a girl, she's my girl. All right, this next one's from Mike. Yo, Wax. Waiting for you to come through Jersey. Haven't seen you since Warped Tour, which wasn't a long enough set for me. I just found a song by an artist I fuck with named Grizz. which samples your and EOM's joint Summer Breeze. I really want to hear that, man. If you, Mike, or anybody else knows what song he's talking about, because I did like a quick YouTube search, I couldn't find it. Just the title of the song, I'd love to hear that. This got me thinking. Who are producers you think sample really well, and when does it stop being sampling and become jacking someone's song? P.S. I got everyone at the smoke shop I work at to fuck with your shit mad hard. Can't wait for the new album, fam. Good vibes. I appreciate that, Mike. And I'm going to have a fucking something for you for this summertime. Working on something, man. I'm going to this April, my thing for April is I'm going to do every day just in the studio. I mean, there's days where I got other shit to do, but I'm going to treat my studio at my house like it's like I'm paying for it. You know, like I'm paying for it by the hour and it's a professional studio. Gotta be careful when you have a nice home studio, man, because you forget that it's your workplace, because, you know, you're looking outside and there's your grill and your place you can sit down. You can just take a quick walk and be in your bedroom. You got to be careful, man. You got to still treat it like work. And the studio, I mean, this is a dream to have what I have right now. It's fucking a dream come true. So I'm going to try to fucking do what I do, man. Try to make some new shit. And just the joints that I already have finished, I think you guys are going to love, man. Just some feel-good, vibey shit that you can hit play. And I'm going to try to come hard with the raps. You know what I mean? What producers do you think sample really well? And when does it stop being sampling and becoming jacking someone's song? Well, that's an interesting question. I know in the 90s, like a dude like DJ Premier is a dude that can take a little piece of a song. Madlib is like this. EOM is a great example. EOM's amazing with this kind of shit. You know, sometimes they'll just find a loop and put some drums behind it. If that's what it calls for, that's what it calls for. But sometimes, like my favorite example was "Kick in the Door" by Biggie that Premier made. The way that he chopped up that "I Put a Spell on You," and he just took all the fucking hits, the horn hits, and just put them in a different place on the beat. And it's fucking brilliant. And hip hop often is brilliant in its simplicity. So I think Premier's got to be the best sampler of all time. Madlib is good. J Dilla obviously was good. I think when it becomes stealing someone's song, I mean that's a slippery slope. So fucking often in rap music, I'll find out how much of I'll hear something. And I'll be like, holy shit, that was something else. And like, I heard this beat and I don't know. Sometimes I'm shocked by how blatant samples are. Like I'll hear something and think like, damn, that's crazy. And then I'll hear the original. I'll be like, you know, that producer really didn't do much. I feel like I'm actually working on a song right now where I just took a loop and put some drums on it. And like, for me personally, doing it like that, like, I don't even say like I produced it. Like, it just feels like lazy, you know, but that's what it is, man. If something sounds good, something sounds good. It's a different way of making music, taking old shit and doing new shit to it. That said, I think some people would argue that it's just kind of jacking somebody else's shit when you know, like Puffy in the late 90s with Every Breath You Take is like using not only the beat but the chorus, and then you might just change one word or two, you know? And we've all been guilty of it. I'm sure there's shit I've done that's like that, you know? That Nights Over Egypt thing I did was pretty much just, I took the whole shit, just I didn't even add nothing. I just rapped over the shit. It's different with rap, man, because you can rap over anything. It started with just people finding the break of the beat and just grabbing a microphone and rapping over it. So that's how it started. So it's a really slippery slope. It's a thin line to say you're jacking someone's song. It's tough. I think it gets, honestly, I think from a business perspective, I'm sure Puffy got all his shit straight. I'm sure when Puffy took all those songs and made them his own, the original owners and writers agreed that he could do it, and they got their shares and shit. I think where it gets really fucked up is if you really steal someone's shit and like their shit wasn't that popular and didn't make much money, and now yours gets popular and makes a bunch of money. That's tricky right there. But you know, now are we judging just by popularity? I don't know. So my answer to your question, Mike, is I don't really know where there's not really a line, you know? There's not a line there. Because stealing someone's song like from a like a legal writing perspective, you know, they're listening to melodies and shit, and then sampling is based on the actual recording itself. There's two aspects of the law. I can't remember the words. You know, when you do publishing, there's one for the writing and one for the mechanical. The mechanical means like the actual recording of it. You know, so if you sample something, you got to pay for both. If you cover something, you don't have to pay for the recording. You just have to pay for the writing aspect. And if you sample something and make a new song out of it, like just chop something up, you only have to do the mechanical side of it. And don't listen to anything I say because I don't know what I'm talking about. Yo, Wax, this is Nolan the Colon. It's a good one, Nolan. That is a good one. You may remember me from a few months back when the word sticker was fucking with my brain. You said fucking with my Brian. You did a good job of clearing that up for me, so I'm back again with another important issue. I was recently thinking about the word finite. And it came to my attention that finite is the root word of infinite. But for some reason, we pronounce the two words so differently. Why don't we say infinite? Infinite. Will the word finite ever get the credit it deserves? Please clear things up, Big Wax. You know, I've never thought about that before. It is true. There's other words like that too, where when you add a prefix or even when you make it plural, like it actually changes the pronunciation of the word. I think in being one that does it a lot. I can't think of one off the top. Oh shit. Famous and infamous. Famous and infamous. Those might just be two fucking different words. But I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think that's the root. I think famous is the root of infamous. If I'm wrong, fucking yell at me on Twitter or at beatsforwax@gmail.com. But yeah, I like the way finite sounds. It's very like Neil deGrasse Tyson-ish. It's a word that's really only used by scientists. You know, we all say infinite. Oh, there's infinite reasons for that. No, it's like, I get infinite amount of pussy. I just want infinite amount of money. I want infinity cats. My publishing company, speaking of publishing, my publishing company is called Infinity Dinosaurs. That's the truth. Infinity Dinosaurs Publishing. Can you imagine that? Infinity. That means everywhere is a dinosaur. Pretty crazy, right? But finite is much more scientific. You don't find yourself saying that in everyday life. I guess maybe you do. But thanks for bringing that to everybody's attention, Nolan. This one is from Petey Machete. Hola, Mike Jones. Been a while since I wrote. Your ass doesn't seem to do podcasts so often anymore. So I decided today to write since I am waiting for my bitch-ass workers to show up. Just wanted to ask you, what are some docs you really liked? I'm usually home for like 4 hours Tuesdays and Thursdays till my girl gets home, and then we get to bang, LOL, if I get lucky. Anyway, I also wanted to ask you about that merch that you have stowed away in a safe box underground in an undisclosed location 200 miles from your house. I want one of every shirt in XL. Well, if you have them all in XL. The one I really want is the Tecate style shirt. Hook a brother up. I hope I still have those. I think I do. I'm gonna really get on this, guys. I'm going to really get on it. The podcast listeners have spoken, and I don't want to fail you. And plus, I can clean up space in my garage. Next time I move, I don't have to move all that shit. And make a little cash on the side. That's all for now. Petey Machete. Peter the Skeeter. Pedro, the one who don't pay for Dro. Pete the Meat. You let touch your feet at the meet and greet down the street. Sent from a dumpster outside of Arby's. Arguably the best sign-off of all time in Wax Podcast history. Arguably. What was the question? Oh, documentaries that I like. Damn, you know which one I watched the other day? I mean, I was kind of referencing it earlier. There's a 4-part series on Netflix. I can't fucking remember the name of it. And it's going to really be bad because I think it's called Hitler and the Nazis. It's a 4-part series. And I watched all four of them in a row a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty intriguing. It's like if you want to just know all you really need to know about World War II in 4 hours, especially when it comes to everything about Nazi Germany. It's interesting, and it's especially interesting now because of what's going on in American politics. There's so many, parallels that you can draw between Hitler's rise and what Trump is doing now. It's very interesting, and I think it's wise to learn about shit like that. It's crazy what human beings do to each other, man. It's really fucking crazy, like this idea of just dropping a bomb on a random building, like fuck everybody in it. Who cares if it's kids? Who cares if it's anybody? I don't know you, but you're all dead. You're all fucking dead. It's fucking nuts that we do that. And the problem is, people like me who think that's crazy, we ain't running for office. All the sane people, all the peaceful people are just living in peace and watching their little screen on their house, wondering why the fuck we're doing this. But all the small portion of the population who are power hungry and manipulative and violent are the ones that inherently, because of their traits, they're the ones that want the power. Who's going to get the power? The people that are hungry for power or the people that are peaceful? You do the math. So that's what's unfortunate about the shit, and it's really a fucking interesting documentary. I really liked it. As far as other documentaries, I've been out of the documentary game for a while. I still recommend that Cowspiracy, even though the guy who was the host was a little douchey to me. What are some other ones? I like any of them, but I've watched all of them that have to do with like 9/11 being a conspiracy. Any of those, if you haven't seen those, are interesting. That's fucking old news. But, I'm just not up on my documentaries no more. I did watch when Making a Murderer came out. I watched that. That was cool to watch. Although I've heard that they didn't include a lot of the shit that actually happened. I heard there's a lot of facts they left out. Anyway, just if you're bored for 4 hours and you want to see the parallel between Hitler and Trump, I would definitely recommend Hitler and the Nazis. 4 hours sections. Okay, we got Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey. Yo, Wax. Glad my last email got you thinking to go to the doctor, man. I haven't gone. I have not gone. Hope all is well, and yo, Chunky is the fucking bee's knees, son. Appreciate that. You asked for suggestions for the podcast, so I have a few. I think you should either have Mr. Todd Rex or Mr. Christopher Jones on more often. I'm sure, that a lot of other emailers will say that shit as well. How about starting a Wax's Artist of the Week segment or something like that and actually play a song or two from them? I should fucking do that. That's what I should do. That's a great idea, man. I really probably should make music a bigger part of this podcast. I am a musician, for Christ's sake. That could be cool and introduce people to new music. Once in a while, you used to play old songs that you never released. Got anything like that lying around? Even just a good old boring for old time's sake. Maybe like maybe live animal sacrifices. Maybe prank call an ex and tell her you're pregnant, then giggle and hang up. Or don't change a thing. I don't know, man. I'm high. I don't know why I find that funny. You give all these fucking suggestions, some of them silly and some of them amazing, and then he's like, I don't know, man, I'm high. You are the mastermind. We are but the apprentices in this world of pies and casting them out. Dude, you're a funny guy, man. Funny guy. Mike from Long Branch, he also says, I tried to think of a Nate the Plate type nickname, but I doubt I'm going to find a rhyme for Mike that will impress a professional rapper named Mike. Yeah, the first thought is Mike the Bike, Mike the Dyke, Mike gets mad lanks. Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey, the Krong Cranch Crew Clergy. That's what I would go with. That one slips right off the tongue. Yeah, these are good ideas, man. I did actually say boring earlier, so that wasn't even planned along with your letter, but I'm trying to throw that in a couple more times. Do I have any old songs laying around? You know what? Let me pause this podcast. Real quick and see if I got an old song laying around that I can throw in. Hold on. I meant unreleased, not old. I guess it might be old too. I don't fucking know. All right, instead of playing like an old unreleased thing, because I don't know, the one I wanted to play, I don't know if I should fucking play. But I'm just going to give you a taste of something I've been working on recently just to give you a feel of what the next thing is going to be like. This is a EOM beat. It's a rough, but it's just like a little piece of a song that we're working on just to give you a feel of what the fucking summertime shit going to be like. Seaweed out in the waves, look, lackadaisical, like a lion at the zoo behaves, yo. I exist in a timeless mist where there's no time to get violent or wild and pissed. I dismiss that roller coaster ride turbulentness and keep a whole host of vibes at a tournament list. Hey, retiring to signature Venice sports. Old geezer by the miniature tennis courts. Between sets, fresh mango juice. Shoestrings tight, but the can't go loose. Known at every old folks' home. Hear the Boca Raton for rocking vocals like I'm Joseph Ramon. Today's jazz clarinet is tomorrow's freestyle rhyme. But in the meanwhile, I'm bumping the beat sent from E in my central B essentially. Yeah, oh shit. That's that new shit, that Wax and EOM shit. That's gonna be a piece of what my next project's gonna be. That one's gonna be called Lackadaisical. And it looks like it's gonna feature a guest too. And hey, that's a little piece of that. So Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey. Maybe I'll try to give you a couple more clips as I be working on the podcast. Let's consider that like a little advantage to listening to Wax's podcast. Where am I at now? This is from, oh, hey, man, I'd appreciate it if you didn't use my name if you read this on the podcast. Thanks. I'm going through a breakup right now with a girl I was living with for 5 years and having a real tough time accepting it and moving on. It's super fresh. Only a couple days now, and I'm having a hard time seeing past my emotions right now. Damn, I feel weird. I just played like an upbeat song, real good feeling song, and now I'm about to get into some depressing territory. Going through a breakup right now with a girl I was living with for 5 years, having a tough time accepting it and moving on. It's super fresh, only a couple days now. Well, this probably been a month since this actual email. And I'm having a hard time seeing past my emotions right now. On top of losing this girl who I still love, I've been battling depression and sometimes even thoughts of suicide, which are now only growing stronger. We also have a dog together who I also love to make things even more messy and complicated. I'm assuming she got the dog. I'm lucky to have some family close to me, but don't have a ton of friends to turn to in this tough time. I feel like in your music you've been in these kind of dark places before, and I also remember you saying you moved to San Diego from the East Coast with a girlfriend. When that ended, did you struggle with it, or was it just time for that to be done? If you did struggle with the breakup or any of your other down, depressing times, what were some of your methods of coping with it and getting past it? Getting advice from you for some reason seems like it'd be helpful, since I feel like I know you through your music, although we have met before at a show in San Francisco years ago. It was one where Krayshawn opened for you and did her song Gucci Gucci 2 times. Thanks for reading and hopefully answering. Yeah, funny enough, I always tell this story. There was I don't know what year that was, 2011 maybe? Whatever year Krayshawn blew up, I did a show with her in April in San Francisco, her hometown. Well, Oakland, same shit. Not the same shit, but the Bay Area. The Bay Area is her hometown. And I did a show at this place. I think it was called 330 Rich, and Krayshawn opened for me. And you know, she was like the local opener, and that was in April. And in August, she was nominated for Video Music Award New Artist of the Year. It's just crazy how fast things can happen, especially if you have a hit song like she did. I haven't followed Creation recently. I don't know what's up with her now, but you know, hopefully she saved her money. Hopefully she's doing well. She seems like a nice person. I don't know. Forget that. Yeah, man, I've been through 2 really depressing breakups. One is the one you mentioned where I had the girl that moved with me, and it was difficult, man. It was very difficult. And you said, did you struggle with it, or was it time for it to be done? I would say both. It was definitely time for it to be done, but you know, when you love somebody and you're with them for a long time, especially if you're in the kind of relationship where you think it's going to be forever, which they always get to that point, don't they? You think it's going to be forever. I'm doing a joke about that in my stand-up set. I'm talking about how, like, what's fucked up about being in a relationship is, like, if she is the one, she's also the last one. The last one, it's just her, and then you die. Just one relationship with this one woman, and then you die. It sounds like I'm working on this, but it sounds like it's like the Make-A-Wish Foundation wish of a conservative Christian kid with leukemia. I just want one loving monogamous relationship. One loving monogamous relationship before I die of leukemia. And the sad part about that is that's the one thing that the Make-A-Wish Foundation can't provide. A loving monogamous relationship. I can just picture the guy from Make-A-Wish Foundation going, well, listen, Timmy, I can get you a lunch date with Serena Williams. I can probably do that. But it's on you to be charming as fuck. Yeah, it's hard to tell if things are funny if there's nobody in the room to either laugh or make a straight face. It's hard to do. That's the most interesting thing to me about stand-up comedy, especially compared to music. You need an audience to know if you're good. You can't judge it. You can try. You can try to judge it just in your head, and you know when you write something funny. When you write something super clever, you're like, God damn, that's fucking badass. But you can also write something super clever and just not say it right, you know? Whereas like music, you can sit here and rehearse and kind of be better off for it. And you can kind of do everything in your cave. You have to have other people. You have to have an audience for stand-up comedy. I find this shit fascinating. But yeah, this dude, I'm fucking talking about all this. I'm talking about Krayshawn and stand-up comedy. This guy's pouring his heart out to me. Yeah, it's tough when it changes the course of your life. If you thought the rest of your life was going to be with this chick and now it's not. And I've definitely, like, the first one, when I was like, you know, like 19 or something like that, was really crushing to me. And the main thing that I can tell you is it's just difficult. It's difficult. Like that pain and that feeling where you're just constantly thinking about her. And no matter what you're doing, she's just in your fucking head. No matter what, and you can't get her out of it. Like, that's just something that takes time, man. There's ways you can cope with it. I mean, art, you know, you can play music or listen to music or try to go out and do as much shit as you possibly can. Go fucking skiing. Go to the park and play soccer. Like, do anything where you have to have all your focus on one thing. Like watching a movie. You know, of course, that shit's probably gonna remind. You know, I can't. There's only so much advice I can give you because you might go to the park and play a game of pickup basketball, and then like, I remember when I played basketball and she was here. It's fucking sad, man. Breakups are sad and depressing, especially the first one, man. I don't know if it's the first one for you, but the first one is. It's like almost like a bone. Like if you break a bone, then it heals, and it's fucking stronger than it was to begin with. That's kind of like how heartbreak is. And the more you have, it's kind of sad. The more cold you really become, you know? Have two fucking sets of crippling heartbreak. And you will just become cold as shit. But the main thing I can say to it is it just takes time. Just don't fucking kill yourself. Don't succumb to those kind of thoughts, you know? Don't, this is really strange and depressing, but I was talking about this with my friend the other day. This past weekend, a guy in downtown LA jumped off a building. He killed himself. One of the biggest buildings in downtown LA was being worked on. They were renovating it. One of the construction workers ended up falling from the top floor, and it wasn't a fall. They said he jumped. And my thought about that was, like, say he was in the same situation this emailer is. I don't know his name. If he was in the same situation, he's walking on top of a 100-story building looking below, and he's like, oh, my fucking wife left me. I got to deal with this. Now I'm at this shitty job I don't like. And he's going through all this negative shit, and he looks to the left, and he's just like, or I could just jump. I hate to laugh, but I'm saying my point is, like, I hope you don't have a job like that. You got to steer. I mean, I'm being dead serious when I say steer clear of places that make it easy to kill yourself. Don't go to the top of any buildings. Don't be around guns. That's a real thing, man. I knew one guy that killed himself, shot himself. And I knew of a guy in high school that shot himself. And, you know, one thing they had in common is they had fucking guns. You know, they had guns in their house. You get depressed, you got a gun. It's very easy to kill yourself. I don't have a gun. I'd have to build a noose or fucking, I don't know what I would do. If I wanted to kill myself right now in my house, I'm looking around. What would I do? I mean, I'd probably drive to downtown LA and find that same building the guy jumped off of. I wouldn't hang myself. I guess you know what I'd do? I'd go to I'd have to find drugs. I'd try to take a bunch of drugs, I guess. That's weird. You know, you think of people that take too many drugs as a form of suicide. You think that usually they recover and they're just looking for help. But you know, maybe they just didn't want to feel the physical pain that is caused by hanging or whatever. But it's real shit to say. It's real shit. I've had suicidal thoughts before. There was one time in my life where I had crazy suicidal thoughts. But if I would have had a gun, who knows? But I don't have guns. If I would have been a guy that worked on a fucking building, could have jumped off. That's a split-second decision that you make, and you're done, you know? So don't be around any shit like that. Just gonna take time, man. You'll get over it eventually. That's all I can say. I know everybody fucking says that, but it's true, you know? It's fucking sad at first, especially now with fucking social media. The second one that I remember, like, you know, fucking that's what people do. You fucking think about her all the time, so you start looking at her pages and shit. If you can, unfriend her, unfollow her, anything that has to do with her on social media, don't fucking have access to any of it. It's nothing but bad. You're going to start looking at the dude she's fucking with now. I fucking have a leftover... I have a strange thing. I went to San Diego recently, and I'm looking out, and I see this dude driving a little boat, and I had a little thing in the back of my head that was like, fuck that dude. Because... when my girl that I moved out here with, when she broke up with me, she moved back east, and then the next guy she was dating was a guy with a boat. and I didn't have a fucking boat. I didn't have shit. I lived in a garage at that time. And it made me feel like dog shit about myself. And to be honest with you, I think it was actually a beautiful thing for my life, because I think that kind of shit can inspire you to be a better person. Can inspire you to just fucking do better and improve your life. Be like, if you see somebody and you're jealous and mad, you can use that shit. Maybe I should have used it further. Maybe I should have fucking used it more. Yeah, man, it just takes time. I hope you get better. I hope you're feeling a little bit better since the day you sent this. But stay up, player. Go fucking fuck some girls, you know? Go try to fuck some random girls, you know? That's that. You know. All right, one more letter. This is from Wednesday. Winzdy. Yo, Wax, I'm Wednesday from Thailand. I've been a fan for more than 5 years now. Ever since I discovered your music, I stopped follow mainstream music and turned to underground music instead. That's where the real deal is at. I listens to your stuff since early albums with Herbal Tea. I'm always amazed by how you're keeping it real while you vary your style of rap. A reason to hand down you're the best at what you do, unlike a Thai MC who I'm a fan of too. His early stuffs were beast, like Lion in the Jungle, but these past couple years his style changed to rap R&B. In my opinion, it's weaker and it makes me sad. However, he said he only makes music true to himself, so I respect him for that. If you're curious and want to check his stuff, he raps both in Thai and English. His name is Ill Slick, one word. Check it out. I actually checked out some of his stuff. It is his new music is interesting. I think I'm with you on this one, Wednesday. I'm not really feeling his particular style of rap R&B. I know that's hot right now, and I know that Drake does it extremely well. Drake does that shit extremely well. Say what you will about Drake, but Jesus Christ, does he do him extremely well? And he's that dude that he made the radio be him. Now everybody on there tries to be him, and this dude is no exception. But he's just not talented. Some people try to go from rap to R&B, and then you hear him do the R&B shit, and they should have probably just stuck with rap. And I think this guy might be the same way. That said, I didn't really get a chance to listen to his old stuff and check out the rap shit. So my question to you is, how could you adopt your new style while still keeping your music tight as you do? Is it a secret? Maybe your answer could help me wrap my head around other artists who has new ways in music, ill slick, etc. It would warm my heart to hear you read this on the podcast. Aww. If not, please know that I truly understand and still be a fan. Follow your journey to the end of time. Mad love, Wednesday, to the end of time. Well, I appreciate you writing. I can tell that English isn't your first language, so I appreciate it even more that you sent me a lengthy email. Adopt a new style while still keeping your music tight as you do it. I think what you're saying is like, you know, a lot of people in the music world will change their style as popular styles change. Music is a progressive thing, you know. Some people do the same shit. Like AC/DC ain't never updated their formulas. DJ Premier stayed pretty much the same in his sound throughout it all. Because what's DJ Premier going to start making trap? Then he's not DJ Premier, you know? Is AC/DC going to start making songs that sound Blink-182? Why the fuck would they do that? But then there's certain artists, Jay-Z being an amazing example, of someone who stays with the times in a good way, you know? Kanye like creates the times, but like Jay-Z always stays with it, but he always finds whatever's hot now that fits with him, you know? You're not gonna hear Jay-Z doing what your boy Ill Slick did, you know. He might do a song where Future does that shit, but Jay's gonna do Jay, and that's why he sticks around for so long, you know. I think the important thing to do is whatever music you make, whether it's a new style for you, because for me, I don't really do like a lot of the. I mean, I don't do like the Drake style, but I do some different styles. Like I might fuck around and do a country song, you know. But as long as you're true to it and not forcing it, like if you feel when you're doing it that you're forcing it, it's gonna sound forced. It's gonna sound like you were trying to do something for reasons other than love and joy, I guess. And I think if you just stay away from that, you'll be good. Because you can hear that kind of shit. Yeah. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your whatever you're having, and be safe out there.